That's right, folks. Longtime owner Mr. Krabs is opening a new restaurant called the Krusty Krab 2. First of all, congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money.
Pack review. Pack review. How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to another video of Pack Review. The video where I spend money on packs so you guys don't have to. And this is the first time that I'm going to be reviewing this specific pack. For those who don't know, this is the Spellemental Road Warriors pack, which is an updated version of the Road Warriors. What's expected here is that there's new set bonuses. The gear is now updated to the max current level, and obviously there's some new Spellements that I actually do not know about, but I will be getting into that once I actually start the review portion of the video. So this is pretty much my first time overall. Now, the way pack review works, for many of those who are probably new to the series, I tend to do a pack opening showcase. Generally it's like 10k, sometimes lower, sometimes more, depending on how I like the pack. If I find something fairly useful, or if there's something that I really like, I might go a little bit over the limit. However, I'm going to be keeping the review in the base of 10k crowns worth of pack openings. That's generally how I always do pack review. That's how it's going to stay. Now, pretty much afterwards, I'll just briefly talk about a little bit of what the pack offers and then give my final verdict. That's pretty much how I changed the format for quite a while now, and it's probably going to be staying that way because I believe that's what works best. Without further ado, let's get started with the openings. Alright, so first pack, we're going to see what we get this time around. So far, just some housing items. Oh, okay, interesting. I'm not... Wow! 30 ghouls. 30 ghouls, y'all. That is insane. Okay, that's actually a pretty good first opening for Spellements anyway. Now, I'm not sure what the other card is going to be in terms of Spellements. We know for sure that ghoul is one of them. So keep that in mind, friends, once you start opening more of these packs. Looks like we got ourselves a pet. Okay, so it's going to be ghoul and imp for this specific... ooh, interesting. Interesting robe we got there. I'll definitely need to see it sometime in the future, but pretty much it's going to be ghoul and imp. That's gonna be the Spellements for this specific pack. It seems like we got ourselves some cold irons as well, and let's take a look. We got another different set, which is the cool rider's gear. So myth and ice, that's actually pretty good. We're getting some pretty decent gear sets at the moment. Now, I did hear something about a wand that is very interesting. So these are the no PvP versions of Fire Gut. So these are the trap versions of them. And that's interesting to see that they're actually making the release in this pack specifically. Unfortunately, you can't really use them for PvP, however. But looks like we did get ourselves the wands. These wands look very interesting. I have to be honest, they look pretty damn good. Probably not 100% better than Sinbad's, but there might be something that comes with this, maybe like a set bonus, that might make it worthwhile for those who probably want to rock the wands themselves. There we go. Life wand. Life and Storm wand. Now that one looks really cool. I like it. That one looks extremely cool. We're gonna keep opening some more. Hopefully we can at least complete one of the sets. Again, lots of minions. We did get the complete sets of the wands, which is very interesting. All right, guys, and I am back showcasing you guys some of the gear and other things that I just really want to talk about with this pack. So aesthetically, this pack is really awesome. I absolutely really love this mount specifically. I think this is probably one of the best mounts that we have in the game. Pretty much like a Bone Dragon mount with like flaming wheels. It's just really cool looking, and definitely has to be one of my most favorite mounts within this game. In terms of the gear look itself, as you can see, you have pretty much a skull detail all around, from the robe to even the boots themselves have some sort of like skull theme to it. I think it's mostly just from the robe itself, but it's really nice looking overall, I have to say. You can definitely see this, especially like the robe and the boots, and plenty of stitches. The helmet is kind of odd in my opinion, but the thing about these hats is that they at least go with the pack itself, and for the hat, it's not even that terrible actually. If you're really going for like a biker set, this is definitely the one here. The wand in particular is actually very popular within multitude of stitches. In fact, I got all versions of it luckily, so I'm actually pretty glad that I got all of them. And overall, aesthetically, this is a great pack. Especially really love these boots. Probably my most favorite part other than the mount in terms of the pack. The pet as well, which is the little hog here. It actually has 3 different colors. I believe one has like a regular flame color, the other one has like a red flame color, and this is the purple flame color. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you guys something that is likely going to shock you. And the thing that's great about this pack in general, actually the only really good thing about this pack, other than maybe getting a Spellemental, I guess, is the potential in the changing of stats. Now, let me showcase to you what I mean. Here are my stats currently, and actually in the meantime I will be changing to Lady Chelsea because she is actually the similar pet that I'll be going for wherever could this girl be. There she is. And here are the stats. 142 damage. Pretend I have the Spell Defy because it's going to be from a Brace Jewel, so that's 57 resistance all schools. Perfect accuracy. 37% crit. 16% block. 33% pierce, which is pretty good. 59% pip conversion, perfect power pip chance, and 7% shallow pip bonus. Now, before I showcase to you any of this specific set, I do want to showcase to you guys some of the gear sets that come with this pack in particular. Now, the interesting thing about this set is that it comes with a 3% universal resistance to all schools with just equipping 2 portions of the set. That means the best way to do it is through the wand and the pet, with any talents that you want, depending on what you make on your pet, which is really insane. Now, let me showcase to you the other sets, as they're pretty much similar for the most part. Let's see. This is the Storm and Life version here. As you can see, pretty much the same. The only difference really being block difference and damage differences. And finally, the Fire, Death, and Balance set. Like I said before, pretty much similar, just block differences and damage differences, but everything else is, for the most part, the same. Now, here are the stats with the gear set bonus here. As you can see, it's 134 damage, 60% resistance to all schools, perfect accuracy still, 38% crit, 28% block, 33% armor piercing, 415 pip conversion, so it significantly goes down from 59 to 21%, same power pip chance and shallow pip bonus. Remember that this is still without the Gulcher mount, which I do have, which will make my damage go to 137, which is insane for a Myth Wizard. So not only do I get to be a little bit more defensive thanks to the gear set bonus, but I still keep a lot of my damage here. I still keep, you know, everything else that's pretty much perfect about the stats. So all it needs is just this pet and the wand, which is the best way to get the gear set is to have a wand and the pet that goes with the gear set with the stats that you're looking for in order to get the bonus, which is great. Now, another thing too I want to show you about this pet is that Van der Borst, he is actually really good for PvP. Not only does it do pretty good damage for a myth, for a 5-pip spell, but it summons a myth minion or a fire minion, both which I've been told are really good for PvP minions, and are super useful at Legendary too, in my opinion. So this is essentially like a non-Shadow Pip version of Witch's House Call, which is amazing. Now, let me just show you the difference in one of the gear sets that I think is actually the most interesting, and it definitely has to be for the life wizards. For life, this is definitely going to be the best one, the one on my left, the Sinbad's universal one. It's going to be probably the best, arguably the best, for life, for death, and for balance. Obviously, there's a retired version of the Sinbad, but not everyone has the access to it, so the next best thing is this specific one from Sinbad, the universal version. Now, let me show you what the difference will be if I was to change that Sinbad one to this Skull one. Well, I will be losing 7% damage, which is still quite a bit, but it's definitely not something you should worry about a lot as a life wizard. In fact, you're a little bit more worried about crit, and you're also more worried that you should survive as much as you can. And with the gear set bonuses, you definitely can now. You get an increase in crit chance, not a lot, but still something. Increase in block chance significantly, and you also have the increase in pierce, which is pretty good. The only thing you'll lose is the pip conversion, but here's the thing I have about pip conversion. It's definitely not a stat you should rely on, generally in my opinion, because it's not really something you can build on. And the reason why is because if you were to build on pip conversion, then you're just risking other stats that are as, if not even more important than pip conversion itself. Which is why it's not a bad change to go from Sinbad to this wand, in my opinion. Not to mention, the spell itself comes with a May cast that is good for PvP, can also be used for PvP. Sinbad, you can't use it for PvP in any sort of way. Now let's take a look at the differences between this compared to Death and Balance. Mainly, because obviously for Fire it's going to be way different. I'll also compare it to Fire as well. Well, what you'll lose is 5% damage, which isn't really a lot for a Death or a Balance. In the comparison to Wands, it's actually a lot better compared to the life version. You gain 1 crit, which is now a lot, significantly increase in block, and you lose pip conversion, but like I said before, not something you should really rely on because you can't really build on it. May cast is also PvP usable. If anything, it might be better for a fire wizard because you won't be able to use death blades in order to trigger the May cast overall. Now, the last thing I want to compare is essentially just the hats and the boots. Now, for those who don't know, these cards in this pack really just are fields and field spells, and that's about it. There's really nothing that significant about them. But I want to compare the Storm hat to a Storm hat from the Safaria pack, which I remember saying from a previous pack review video is that it's the best Dragoon's replacement hats for those who don't have Dragoon's gear. Obviously, Dragoon's gear is better, especially with the gear sets, but this is definitely a good alternative. Now, let me show you the difference in terms of the gear sets here. If I was to go from this hat to the Safari hat, I will lose 2% accuracy universal, but it's not that bad, and I will gain 8% damage overall to Storm, because the Zafaria set comes with universal damage plus Storm damage. In terms of critical, I will pretty much lose only 13 crit, which is not really that much, and obviously I lose 139 health. I gain 10% power pip chance, which is definitely a lot more important to keep it universal, and I gain Shadow Pip bonus percentage, which is also very useful. In terms of the robes aren't really that special. In my opinion, definitely not good for PvP, because really all it gives for the most part is the health. It gives some power pip chance, it gives good block, it gives good resistance, but that's about it. The pierce, I mean, overall, it's just not that great. But for the boots, which I will be comparing this to a search I found in Google, because there's a storm boot similar to it that might be something that you might want to take a look at. Now, I will be showing a picture as to like the comparison so you guys can see it for yourself, but here's what we have here. So, if I was to go with this specific boots, and I wanted to change to the Safari ones, here's what I'll gain. I'll gain 185 health. I'll gain... I'll lose some universal accuracy, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's only 4%. I'll gain power pip chance. I'll gain a shadow pip bonus percentage by 1. I'll also be gaining some crit because this in total actually gives 111 crit compared to 107 universal crit. And as for damage, well, in this set it's 31 universal plus 4% storm damage. And for this one, it's just 26% storm damage, which in short will basically increase my damage by 9%. Therefore, in conclusion, the boots, the robes, and the hat are definitely not good for PvE or PvP. However, the wands and having a pet with specific stats that you're going for will be fantastic for PvP. The only other thing that will be useful, other than maybe the wands, is if you want the Spellements, which is something I forgot to mention, I believe. Now for Imp, you can have either more potential damage and same accuracy, or set damage but more accuracy. For Ghoul, which is the more interesting one, you can either get a better finisher because you have more damage to a Ghoul, or you can have a more utilized drain because the drain percentage increases up to 70%. Now, here's my verdict on this one. It really just depends on how it goes, because in turn-based, minions have become the meta. Because being open is something that no one wants to be, and having minions on your side would be very useful in terms of giving yourself an opening. And the thing about death is, if you were to go with the second round, which is the extra drain, you can basically utilize the reliance on minions to your advantage by not only doing a pretty good damage on the minions, but also gain most of that health back that you just did to the minions, making it a lot scarier for a lot of people to go against Death Wizards or using minions against Death Wizards specifically. If you were to go with the first route, then you'll just have better finishers. You can still kill the minion a lot easier, and you have a better finisher against your opponent, but that's as much as it goes.
Overall, I'll be giving this pack a 2.5 out of 5. Honestly, at the end of the day, this pack is just another Spellemental Skyverns pack, but with a better aesthetic. And honestly, I can't really say much else that you would probably go for other than the aesthetics of the pack or the wands so you can get the specific gear set. And that's going to conclude the pack review video for the Spellemental World Warriors pack. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't. You can also check out the other pack review videos with the pack review playlist that will be coming up with the icon somewhere here, I believe. And as always, remember to stay frenzy. Peace.